So changing your exhaust is a quick, easy way to not only change the looks of your bike, but also add a little bit of performance as well. Now the problem is when you have a job that's supposed to take you 30 minutes to an hour and ends up taking you 3. Now in today's video, we're going to be getting out and showing you how to get in and remove as well as reinstall your exhaust studs so that you don't end up with that problem. So stick around. What's up guys, Bryan here. Thanks for tuning in today. So like I said, changing your exhaust is usually a pretty quick, easy deal. You can get in, get it done, and be back on the road within an hour. Now anyone who has worked on any vehicle knows that that's not always the case. Now sometimes your studs are bent, sometimes you snap one off, sometimes the bike gods decide to throw a different problem at you that day, and now you've gone from in and out like a robbery to spending your day in the garage, pissed off, and throwing tools instead of out riding the bike. Now I've got the exhaust off, it's being coated, and I figured that this was the perfect time to get in there and change these exhaust studs out. Now my bike is going on 20 years old, so my bolts are starting to show it. They're starting to get a little rusted. I'd rather change them out than to have to drill one out when it snaps off. Now this is a pretty quick, easy job. It won't require any special tools to get it done, but we will be using some anti-seize on the studs when we reinstall them in. You want to make sure that you get some that's rated to the temperature that these exhausts are going to reach. Now I'll be replacing the studs, nuts, as well as the rear exhaust bolts. So I'll be sure to leave links down below to everything that I use in today's video, so be sure to check those out. And other than that guys, let's get out there and change these studs out. Alright, now this is going to be a pretty quick, straightforward video. There's not really a whole lot to actually doing this. The biggest thing is actually trying to get them out. Now they do actually make a stud removal tool, but we are not going to be using that today. I'm not sure that they actually make one that would fit in this tight of quarters, especially on this back bolt here. So if I end up finding one that I think will work pretty decently, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now the way that we're actually going to be doing today is just using the nuts that actually come on the exhaust. Now we're going to be replacing these studs with stock OEM parts, and if you'd rather actually upgrade to stainless steel or something like that, I'll also leave a link in the description below to a thread on the forum where Rudy Jeremiah's actually wrote up, gave all the sizes, all the thread sizes and everything like that that you'll need to actually get these replaced in something different. Now the first thing that we're actually going to do is remove the exhaust from the bike. Now sometimes that in itself is one of the actual problems. A lot of times what happens is these bolts end up getting bent and it'll actually keep you from being able to get that exhaust off that easily. Now the actual torque specs on this bolt when you install an exhaust are only 14 foot-pounds. So what happens a lot of times is a lot of the people will get in there and they'll over torque those bolts and it ends up making those studs bend. Now once we've got our exhaust off, what we're going to do is take one of those nuts and run it backwards up along that exhaust stud. Now you can see where I've actually left enough thread on there to where we can take the second nut and actually go ahead and run it on there as well. Now once you've got your two bolts actually situated in place here, what you're going to do is take them and tighten them up to each other. And what that's going to do is actually lock this bolt in place so that then we can come back in and just remove it like that. Now, if you have one that's a little bit stubborn, you can actually take, a 6-point wrench and put it on there first so that you can actually have something that gets a little bit better of a grab to it. Now, most of the time, if these were installed right, you shouldn't have a problem with actually getting them pulled out. Now, once you've got your exhaust stud pulled, you want to actually be sure to pay attention to the way that you reinstall it. They're not the same on both sides, and we're actually going to be reinstalling the shorter end inside of the cylinder head. Now when you go to reinstall the stud, all that we're going to do is the exact opposite of how we took it out. We're going to put those two bolts back to back, tighten them together, and then insert that end into the cylinder head and tighten it down. Now when we do that, you're going to want to make sure that you put anti-seize on these threads, and you're only going to want to do it up the first price, 7 or 8 threads. You don't necessarily need to run it all the way up. And you'll actually want to use some kind of gloves or something like that as well when working with that anti-seize, because a lot of times it's not very good for you. Now your exhaust stud bolts aren't going to be like a normal bolt. They're actually going to seat into place as opposed to a normal nut that kind of provides tension by actually stretching that bolt just a little bit with that nut. Now when you tighten this down, you're going to tighten it down to 11 foot-pounds per torque. Now once you've actually got your exhaust stud installed, you can back both of these nuts off. And when you install your exhaust, you'll want to be sure that you put anti-seize on the top portion of these threads as well. And then you can actually tighten this nut to 14 foot-pounds of torque. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully this video was able to show you a quick, easy way to get those exhaust studs pulled so that hopefully you don't run into problems in the future. Be sure to like and share this video, guys. And if you're not subscribed, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so that you get notified to all my new videos. Now next week, we're actually going to be reinstalling that exhaust. We're going to show you how it came out actually being coated. And I'm stoked, man. Can't wait. So be sure to be watching for that. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next time.